I'm Paul Edwards. I'm a self-published horror author, and first and foremost, a monster kid. Today I'm reading Monsterscene magazine, issue number 7 from 1996. I thought some of you might enjoy flipping through this vintage magazine with me. Together, let's see what kinds of monster kid goodness is in here. Monsterscene magazine, issue number 7 from 1996, has Ray Harryhausen creations rendered all in one collage piece of artwork. I love it. These are some of his best, too. All right, let's get to it. Oh, in fact, Harryhausen's got a whole spread of figures here. These are not really toys. These are like really good quality figures of the creatures that he's brought to life in stop motion animation over the years. Oh. All right, so let's see what we're going to get here. Spring 1996. Okay. You've got Harryhausen, of course, our cover story. Mary Riley, The First Family of Horror. Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie. There Goes Tokyo. You should know who that's about. Monster Model Maker. The Video Vault. The Scary Library. And the Monster Mall. All right, let's see. Ray Harryhausen learned the art of stop motion animation, where you have these detailed figures and you take a picture of it and then you move it just the slightest bit and then you take another picture of it and so forth, and you show those pictures all in succession and it looks as if the creature is moving. He learned the art of stop motion animation from Willis O'Brien, the man who brought King Kong to life in 1933 with stop motion animation. And Ray Harryhausen became very, very, very good at it. He did a number of monster movies like Valley of Gwangi and The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. But he also did a lot of fantasy films like the Sinbad movies and Jason and the Argonauts. I really like this metal giant. Telos, was it? That was pretty creepy. The Cyclops, of course. Do you remember the movie Mary Riley? Because considering that there was some pretty big star power involved, hardly anyone seems to remember this movie. It was a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde movie, and it was told from the point of view of the character Mary Riley, who was played by Julia Roberts, and Dr. Jekyll was played by John Malkovich. So there was significant star power in this movie. But it seems to have been almost completely forgotten. I saw it in the theater, and I wasn't the only one seeing it in the theater. So it was a big deal at one point, but it seems to have just been sort of overlooked by history. Okay, horror's first family. Dracula and Dracula's daughter and the son of Dracula. Okay, well, of course, Dracula, as played by Bela Lugosi, and Dracula's daughter, obviously. Son of Dracula, there's some question marks I have here. Because in the movie Son of Dracula, it was never made entirely clear whether this vampire was Dracula himself or was a son of Dracula, as the title suggests. It was sort of left up in the air. But, of course, Bela was the king as Dracula. Look at that. That's a good behind the scenes picture. I like that a lot. There's poor Dwight Fry getting it. This scene in Dracula's Daughter. This bit here where they were doing the funeral for Count Dracula, it was creepy for sure. I'm not really sure what direction they were taking it though. I don't know. It was kind of odd. I do like the fact that at the end of this movie, Dracula's Daughter, they went back to Transylvania, to Dracula's castle. I noticed that the photos in this are relatively small compared to some other monster magazines. A publicity picture for Son of Dracula here, with Lon Chaney Jr. playing Count Dracula, in which, I'm sorry, but he was just wildly miscast. I think that Lon Chaney Jr., he was great in certain kinds of roles, but I have a strong feeling what happened was that the studio wanted to cash in on his very famous name, famous because of his father, I mean. And so they would cast him in roles that he really had no business in, like being Count Dracula. You know, nothing about Lon Chaney Jr. suggests aristocracy or elegance. The story for Son of Dracula really was okay, though. And the atmosphere in Son of Dracula was pretty good. It was like Southern Gothic horror. But you just can't get past the fact that they cast Lon Chaney Jr. as Dracula. At least I can't. Really pushing the Harryhausen this time. You can get your Cyclops, your Ymir. I was just watching this movie yesterday. 20 Million Miles to Earth. Or Medusa from Clash of the Titans. Oh, look at the guests at the Fan Expo. Robert Weiss, D. Wallace Stone, Anne Robinson, John Agar, perennial B-movie Bad Penny John Agar, Dolores Fuller. Oh my gosh. I bet that was a lot of fun. Okay, so Mystery Science Theater had been on for, I don't know, 6 or 7 seasons when they finally made a theatrical movie. And the movie that they riffed in their theatrical movie was This Island Earth. You know, it's interesting because usually Mystery Science Theater would show terrible movies, but This Island Earth really was not a terrible movie. I mean, there are a couple of parts of it that didn't age well, but it's certainly not a clunker like a lot of the movies they showed on that program. There goes Tokyo. I assume you probably know this, but in case you don't, the band Blue Oyster Cult had a song, Godzilla, and the chorus was, "Oh no, there goes Tokyo, go, go, Godzilla." So we're looking at some Japanese giant monsters here. Now this is 1996. The Godzilla series of, the Heisei series of Godzilla films had just ended the year before. Godzilla vs. Destroyer had just come out the year before. But Gamera was just getting going with his new series of films with the superb Gamera Guardian of the Universe. And then Gamera 2 Attack of Legion. I just love Gamera Guardian of the Universe. I just love that one. The last Godzilla? Well, I think we know the answer to that from our perspective in their future. Certainly not the last Godzilla. But Godzilla vs. Destroyer was billed as being the last Godzilla of that cycle. And it was going to be the last Japanese one for a while. Monstrology. Wow. Sleep No More in the video vault. So, 1996, you could buy movies in home video formats, but it wasn't DVD yet. It was still VHS, videotapes. And they charged quite a bit. $14.95 was really quite a bit in 1990s money to get just a single movie. It's not like you got a set of movies on this thing. It was just one movie per videotape. Are they kidding? Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, they wanted $29.95. Dark Angel, The Ascent, they wanted $59.95. And this is in 1990s money? Really? The Fog, John Carpenter's The Fog, $49.95. What are they doing to us here? These are not realistic prices. Maybe these are for the laser discs. But no. Oh, no. See, VHS $9.95. Okay. VHS $5 for Bride of the Gorilla. Okay, now wait a minute. In what world is Bride of the Gorilla, where at least you get Perry Mason himself, anywhere near being half the price of Bride of the Monster, which is an Ed Wood fiasco? Granted, it does have Bela Lugosi in it, but I have a feeling Raymond Burr demands a better price than Bela Lugosi. This was a real problem with VHS. Treasures of the Twilight Zone. For $29.95, you got 2 VHS cassettes. That might have, 6 to 8 episodes between the two of them. 6 to 8 episodes of the show. Now they would just sell you the whole series for $29.95. Burn Witch Burn is a good movie. I should do a video on Burn Witch Burn. I like that one a lot. There were a lot of witch movies in the 60s. Somehow the 60s were big for witches. The Sinbad collection. The Day the Earth Stood Still. These must be laser discs. That's what this must be, laser discs. Dr. Phibes, both of them. Sinister Cinema presents 67 new releases. Curse of the Vampires, Mad Doctor of Blood Island, Return of the Frog, The Scary Library, The Monster Mall, look at this. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Very, very liberal interpretation of the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Oh my gosh. I have actually in my life ordered Something Weird video products. They did have a ton of obscure horror and science fiction. And on the back cover, we get, again, some of Ray Harryhausen's greats. From his final film, Clash of the Titans. And from Golden Voyage of Sinbad. Nice. Listen, if you enjoy classic monsters and vintage horror, you would love my book series, the Mourner's Woods books. I'm self-published on Amazon. I have a series of novels that I've written about a haunted forest, Mourner's Woods. Each novel has a different threat that the characters encounter within this forbidden wilderness. Ghosts, monsters, banshees, and I recapture the vibe and feel of 20th century horror, but in a contemporary setting. My name again is Paul Edwards. My books are the Mourner's Woods books, available on Amazon. Thanks for looking through Monsterscene magazine, issue number 7 with me. I'll see you in Mourner's Woods.